Alright guys, so in this video I'm going to be talking about my cryptocurrency journey as a quote-unquote early adopter, if you want to call it that. I got into crypto mid-2017. I'm going to go through the entire timeline. And of course, I ended up doing the impossible, and I ended up somehow losing money despite investing in 2017. So guys, when it comes to just me in general and the idea of investments, it's something that always intrigued me because ever since I can remember, I thought to myself that, if you just take the normal route, you do a 9 to 5, you do the typical thing, you're going to have a lot of years ahead of you where you're just slaving away. And you see people in their 30s retired with a beautiful home while you're just working, some $70,000, $80,000 job. And the idea of putting money somewhere to make you more money, it always intrigued me. And originally, when I was like 13 or 14, I had this one stock because at the time, I didn't even know anything about cryptocurrency. This was like 2013, I want to say. I remember this one stock, I think it was called RBCC, like Rainbow Corporation. It was some bullshit penny stock that I probably just Googled one day, best penny stocks or something, because that was my original interest, of course. The idea is I don't have much capital. At the time, I really had no capital. How do I turn $100 into $1 million? That's obviously not the question you should be asking when it comes to investing. That's a terrible strategy. But when you're 13 or 14 years old, that's what you do. So I remember you guys were, in high school, how they had those Google Chromebooks. God, those things were such shit. I wonder how much those Chromebooks, like with the Chrome carts, how much did those cost? Because the school districts would probably buy in bulk like 2,000 of them, no joke. And it probably costs, honestly, like $10 to make those things. Those Chromebooks were so shit. And we were too early for the Chromebooks. Like the grades below us, they got to take them home with them. And they were like, oh yeah, these are ours. They didn't allow us to do it. I'm guessing because we were like the second ones or the second class that was introduced to them. So it was early on in the Chromebook process. But yeah, I remember going on one of my Chromebooks, maybe my freshman year of high school or something, and looking at all the stocks and thinking I was a badass. And that one company, RBCC, I'm sure they're out of business. I'm sure it would have been a horrible investment. I never bought anything. I don't even think I was legally allowed to buy anything. Oh, I've got some good stories on Coinbase and the issues I've had with them when you buy crypto under 18. I've had my account restricted a few different times. Honestly, they're probably a lot more strict now about crypto than they were. The banks certainly are. Oh my God. Dude, guys, my PNC account, they don't even let me buy cryptocurrency. You could even call PNC and be like, please authorize this transaction. And they'll be like, no, we can't do that. And then 4 or 5 years ago, when I had the exact same PNC account, it goes right through. But guys, I'm getting off track. Let's go back to the timeline. So I'm intrigued with penny stocks. And if you guys know anything about investing, cryptocurrency versus the stock market, cryptocurrency is the stock market on steroids times 1,000. Like, you want to talk about penny stocks, dude? It's funny, they consider penny stocks like a $3 stock is a penny stock. That seems ridiculous to me when talking about cryptocurrency. When I see something in crypto that's like $3, trading at $3, I do not think of that. Like with Shiba Inu and Pepe and all these coins trading at like 1/1,000,000th of a cent. It's hilarious. I love all of it when it comes to crypto. But yeah, so the first time I vividly remember getting into crypto, I had this dinky little laptop. It was the summer of 2017. So I had just finished my junior year of high school, and I remember I would always have my laptop open and Coinbase open and the old display, because in Coinbase, for the longest time, you would only be able to trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, and those three would be up. And I remember Bitcoin trading for around $2,400, Ethereum was like 100 or like a few hundred. Litecoin was like 35, 40 bucks, and I started following it in the summer of 2017, and that's when I actually had a legitimate job in 2017. I got to remember to do a video on the previous jobs I had. I've really only had 3 total jobs. Like the last job I had where I actually had a boss, guys, was 2018. So think about how delusional I am at this point. I haven't even had a boss for like 5 years now. But when it comes to crypto, I didn't invest. I want to say my first investment, because I actually did have a summer job in 2017. My first investment I would guess would maybe be August. I would say around August of 2017 going into my senior year, and I bought Litecoin. Now you might be wondering, why did you buy Litecoin? Well, because it was the cheapest thing that I could buy. Sure, there were other cryptocurrencies, but I was new to crypto. I didn't know about some of the other exchanges. I just wanted to buy through Coinbase, and it is kind of funny considering I had literally zero issues buying cryptocurrency through Coinbase, through my bank account. Nowadays, it's a completely different story. Again, banks just hate crypto with a passion. It is crazy. But I was able to buy things perfectly fine. I had account limits that, I probably invested. I think I had 30 Litecoins, and I bought them all around. Periodically, maybe I made 2 or 3 bigger purchases for a total of like a few $1,000s, something like that. It was around like 60 or 70 bucks a coin. This was going into probably like September, October of my senior year. So this was September, October of 2017 is really when I made the purchases. And then of course we know the massive bull run happened literally a few months later. I think my biggest issue was I'm not even going to blame myself. I just think I was genuinely too young. Like if I was 17 or 18 in 2014 getting into cryptocurrency, I think I would have done very well because I just love the idea of investing. And to me, cryptocurrency, like I just love owning stuff. Like if you give me, it could be any coin, like the idea of owning 1 million or 5 million Shiba Inu. I just love the idea of it. It's just fun to have with the idea that it could go up in price. So yeah, I bought Litecoin. Again, the only reason I bought Litecoin was because it was the cheapest thing at the time out of the big three: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. And really the only 3 things you could buy on Coinbase. So I bought about 30 or 40 total coins of Litecoin, and I did have a Ledger Nano S. I was obsessed with it. It's the idea of owning a cold storage wallet so your stuff is safe, and I like having my own like personal little bank that, with the cold storage wallet. So I actually have 3 Ledgers now, and there's a bunch of different wallets, but Ledger was the huge thing back in the day. That was like the one big one. I know there was one other brand, but it didn't look as good to me. There was also the Ledger Blue. That thing was never in stock. That thing cost like $300 or something. I'm sure if you're like a crypto person, you remember the Ledger Blue. It was a touchpad. It was like the same thing. You connected it to a computer. It was cold storage, but it cost like $300 and they never had it in stock. And they would always ship from overseas in the UK. That's where the Ledger Nano S's came from. Now I think they have the Ledger Nano X. I think I have the Ledger Nano X, but getting back to my story. So yeah, obviously the bull market happens, guys, and I remember paying $5, well, it was $4.99 at the time, for an app, like a cryptocurrency app, to where you could add coins to your portfolio, and I would always check it. And my portfolio, I remember checking it one morning. Our high school started at at 7 a.m. So it was pitch black out because it was in like right before Christmas break. And I think we were taking one of our midterms early in the morning, and I finished one of my midterms, and I was checking it, and my portfolio was worth $12,000. So that was huge for me. Now, of course, I never saw any of that money. I didn't know to cash it out. I didn't know bull markets or anything. I just bought this, and it went up, and we were all sitting there like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. It's just going to keep going up. Or, I really didn't know what to do. So it ended up going back down, and I actually ended up transferring that Litecoin to Bitcoin and then Bitcoin to DigiByte through a website. I want to say the website's name was Changely, because back then, none of us, knew about PancakeSwap. I don't even think PancakeSwap was around back then, or Uniswap. It was really like Changely you had to go to, and you could exchange Bitcoin for other altcoins. But yeah, I remember one day I went into school early in the morning, and I had this big transfer. And I think I was transferring Litecoin. What was I doing? I might have been just transferring Litecoin to my Ledger Nano S off of an exchange, and it was like $3,000 worth. And I was revved up, man. I was fired the fuck up. I was like, I'm a badass, trading this stuff. And then it's funny because I had skipped my final period when I was a senior. It was a total shit show. I skipped so many classes. I was a terrible student, and I was skipping. This was like 11 a.m. I'm coming home at 11 a.m. Guys, I would come home my junior year at 9 a.m. I would go straight from my school because you had to go to homeroom. Otherwise, they would call your parents, and that's how I'd get, found out. But if you just go to your homeroom class in second period, you could skip the rest of the day and no one would know. So I would go from my second period at 9 a.m., and I would go straight to Panera Bread and get 2 cinnamon rolls. And then I would come home, heat both of them up in the microwave. Oh, and then just lay in my bed at like 10 a.m. It was beautiful. But yeah, when I became a senior, it was just because you were allowed to leave early anyways, and I had my schedule set up. I manipulated my schedule to where my 8th period was early release. I don't want to get into this because, this is another video for another time, but my 8th period was early release, my 7th period was study hall, my 6th period was lunch, so technically I could leave after 5th and just be fine. And then I started skipping 5th as well just because I wanted to leave after 4th. And so I had skipped my 5th period. I was coming home at 11 a.m. And guys, this is, I got into a single car crash. God himself could not have saved this one. Anyone would have crashed. I am a good driver. It was literally the worst road conditions ever. And on top of it, it was honestly because I wasn't able to turn into my street because of a giant ass garbage truck. I was trying to turn, but it was coming. So I did the smart thing, kept going straight. And that actually caused me to get into the crash later down the line. But maybe I'll do a video of my crash. It was bullshit. But either way, guys, just getting back to it, I ended up making the transfer. I remember getting home, I literally got into the tow truck with the dude and I said, just take me home. I got this transfer, please. So then I got home and the transfer went through to my Ledger Nano. But then what ended up happening is I ended up getting into DigiByte, and if you're wondering why I got into DigiByte, the reason is because it was worth the lowest amount that was actually like a mainstream coin. And the idea is you want to find something that's worth nothing, then invest into it, and then, oh my god, it goes from, 0.2 tenths of a cent to $1. Of course, that's not the correct way to think. It's a fraudulent theory. It's just I was young, and that's why I got into DigiByte, and I started doing videos on it. My first video, I remember, was January 10th of 2018, so literally right in the thick of the bull run. But this was like the first bull run with crypto. It still really wasn't totally mainstream. Like, I would say the first really mainstream crypto bull run was 2021 for sure, with Elon Musk tweeting about it and everything. The 2018 one was a little bit different, so I got into it really right at the end or like during the middle of alt season after Bitcoin had hit its all-time high. If you guys remember, Bitcoin's original all-time high after that, bull run was around 19,500. It didn't get to 20K, and it was like trolling us. It would not get to 20,000. I mean, I didn't own any Bitcoin. I didn't invest into it. And my strategy in not investing in Bitcoin was that, number one, I just didn't have the capital. Like, I had like $2,000, and I thought to myself, if I invest $2,000, I was only getting like 0.75 Bitcoin at the time because it was like 4,000 or 5,000. It is what it is. But long story short, I end up exchanging basically all of my Litecoin to DigiByte, so I still had all my coins in the market. Unfortunately, obviously, when it comes to a bull run, you want to sell at the top. I didn't do that. I just kept them in. And then I ended up having, maybe around 300K DigiByte. And it is funny because DigiByte did end up going to 15 cents per coin during the 2021 bull run. I don't exactly know how much that would have made me. Unfortunately, I had sold my DigiByte by then because I'm just a fucking idiot, honestly. I mean, that's literally the worst thing. I sold my DigiByte. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I just wanted cash, but it still doesn't make sense to this day. I remember selling it through Binance and getting a direct deposit from Binance to my bank account, maybe for like $1,500 or something, $2,000. Just such a dumb decision. I would have at least made, I mean, not a ton. I wouldn't be rich, but I would at least made, if I sold around the high in 2021, you're looking at like $20,000, I think. So it would have been a good gain. But I think I just ended up getting tired of it, tired of holding it. And I guess I wanted cash for whatever reason. But it still just doesn't make sense why I would do that. And unfortunately, I do remember doing it. And, obviously with the bear market, you get demoralized. You're a young kid. You don't know what's happening. You don't know about cycles. And I end up selling everything and kind of tail off on doing the videos. But I was doing price updates and everything like that. And the 2021 bull run, I was pretty much out of it. I mean, the most depressing thing is when people come up to you and they're like, oh, how did your cryptocurrency do? I'm sure you're rich. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a fucking retard. I didn't do any, like, I literally got into this in 2017. How do you lose money getting into cryptocurrency in 2017? Well, I guess that's how, when you're just dumb and you keep your money in. When you reach new all-time highs, you don't sell. And then you decide to sell and get out of the market at the low. Literally the worst thing you could possibly do. I am, getting back into cryptocurrency right now. I think it's an amazing time to buy. Obviously, not financial advice there, but just me personally, I've always had a love for cryptocurrency. It was really my first love. And certainly, I'm also in a few different stocks. I will say, I'm sure if, anybody looked at my portfolio, they would say they're really risky because my stocks are basically Bitcoin mining stocks, which is just basically extension cryptocurrency. But I do own stocks. But either way, guys, that's just kind of my story on crypto. It just kind of teetered away from me in 2019, I think, after getting really into it in 2017. And I can't remember the exact day I sold. Dude, I might have sold at the absolute bottom. Well, the absolute bottom of the bear market was March of 2020. And we can remember that because that's when the country got shut down, the economy got shut down, everywhere got shut down in mid-March of 2020. Dude, that was the most, this is why I have, it's just so dumb. All I had to do, this is literally all I had to do, was, because I had a car. My mom had gotten me a car, a Chevy Cruze, and I still have it. But it's like when you have an asset like a car, if you're a young person and you're 16 or 17, just work your ass off. Go to the highest paying job possible, do whatever, get the money. Try and get to, now there's like a worker empowerment movement. So if you're 16 or 17, you're probably going to have a better chance at getting like a $20 an hour job. Back when I was working, they just treated us like shit. I think I got $9. I started, and honestly, it's not like I deserved more, but nowadays, guys, if you know with the worker empowerment, after the pandemic, all of the workers realized they significantly outnumbered the employers, and they're like, we're not working unless it's for this certain amount of money, and that's kind of why we've seen wages go up, and certainly they should go up. Look at the inflation. The wages never follow inflation. Now they're finally starting to. And if you are a young person, all I can say is just work your ass off. I barely did anything. All I had to do was invest into Ethereum, which is extremely safe, and I would be a multimillionaire at this point. Now, it is a woulda, coulda, shoulda, but it's just me being lazy. That's what it comes down to. And really, I just would have, literally, I finished high school in 2018. Imagine if I just worked and saved up like $50K in between the end of 2018 and like 2020, and then you get the golden opportunity investing while the economy's shut down. Bitcoin is sitting at 3,000. Ethereum is like 150 it went down to. It's just a golden opportunity. And when you're lazy, and I had no money, I had no money to invest into it because, you're just not good at life. But yeah, guys, that's just a little trip down memory lane when it comes to my cryptocurrency. The first time I heard about Bitcoin was 2016, but the first time I started actually following it, again, it was on my laptop. I would just leave the Coinbase thing pulled up where there would be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin with the Bitcoin price chart. I like the old version of Coinbase. And actually, I do have an email account. The email account name is patrickcoinbase@gmail.com. Think about how clean that email is. This is very nerdy, I know, but when you think about all of the Gmail accounts out there, there's millions upon millions upon millions. I couldn't even get, when I made my Depressed Ginger channel, I couldn't get Depressed Ginger at Gmail. I had to add a letter to, or a number to it. It's like, who's taking Depressed Ginger, but everyone takes everything. But I made this Gmail back in 2017, and and I still have it to this day, the cleanest Gmail you can have. patrickcoinbase@gmail.com. No numbers, no letters, no anything, just clean. And I love saying that to people. And honestly, people do seem pretty impressed when I say it. This is a pretty good email account. I can't believe I reserved this back in 2017, 2018. I just did it kind of as a coincidence because it was going to be my cryptocurrency account, but honestly, it's a pretty clean Gmail to have because I think I've probably created at least 35 or 40 Gmail accounts at this point. And if you're in cryptocurrency and you're on the internet, you're going to be creating multiple Gmail accounts. They just add up over time, honestly. But either way, guys, that's just kind of my story with cryptocurrency. That is going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on X. Link to that's always in the description.